Alright, let's go over some shoulder exercises if you want bigger, rounder delts. And this is going to be science-based. If I don't announce it, it's not that. And back in the day, these were just plain exercises. But right now, because this is the new trend, it is science-based. If you know me and you know science, then you are not going to skip shoulder presses. It's not the fanciest exercise, but everybody with big delts are doing it, and not just doing it, but they are actually strong at this. And this will train the lateral and the front head. And some of you will say that, oh, I don't need my front delt because it gets enough stimulus from bench presses. Okay, but your arms are getting, at least your biceps is getting enough stimulus from rowing, yet you still skip leg day just for arms. Think about that for a second. Pick literally any machine in your gym, and you can also use the dumbbell, barbell, even the Smith machine, and we can go into how the bench should or shouldn't be around 90 degrees, because at the end of the day you are going to arch your back, or maybe you won't arch your back and put you in the same position, but you just have to pick a variation and be really good at that. In fact, you have to be the best in that. Arm angle, and for a long time I always had shoulder pain whenever I did any pressing motion, and I thought that okay, it's an impingement and it is probably from the angle of my arm because I kept it out to the side, but it wasn't that. I started experimenting and I realized I was wrong, and it was just my form. You see, as long as you can keep your arm rotated under your wrist, you shouldn't feel any pain. Now, shouldn't means that you can still feel something, but you probably won't if you do this for a while. Now, I'm not doing any front raises, but if that's your weak point, because guess what, we are all individuals here, then you can still include them and train them so they get enough stimulus for growth. And you can also just include them for one mesocycle, training it 4 to 16 weeks and see what happens to you from that. It will probably grow. If you are one of those people who have a hard time feeling and connecting with your lateral delt, then don't worry, I got a solution for you. Don't tell this to anybody, but you need to pack on more muscle. That's going to solve it. Pick any lateral raise exercise. It can be dumbbell or cable, and the cable can be around wrist height just to train the lengthened position, or it can be at the bottom just to mimic the same position with the dumbbell. Yes, it is going to be training roughly the same position with the dumbbell if it's at the bottom. And I know this is a common misconception where there is more tension on you, but in fact maybe slightly like 2% you get more tension at the bottom. That's not much. At the end of the day, you are just playing with resistance, but your goal is going to remain the same. You need to get stronger, because if you are stronger, you are going to have more muscle. Because if you have more muscle, the mind-muscle connection and feeling the muscle or connecting with it is not going to be a problem. And the good thing about that, no, actually the best part about that is that you didn't have to go to the internet. Find videos where they are explaining to you and teaching you how to acquire mind-muscle connection, because the missing link was just that, missing muscle size. And all you have to do is take your sets, your lateral raises all the way to failure. And your traps are always going to be in the exercise because that's their job. You can try to take them out, but you just can't. And let's assume they take over because you reached failure. You're not going to raise your arm anymore. Your delts are going to grow. If you can't raise your arm, there's no traps. And rare delts will get enough stimulus from rowing. Where did I hear this sentence? You will still give it direct work to train them. Or you can go around and say, it is your genetics that has the potential to grow. You just never gave it any attention. An angled or even a non-angled fly variation is going to train the rear delt. And whether you use a machine or a cable or dumbbells, the goal is going to be the same. You probably guess it, but getting really good at it. A person who can use the whole stack is probably going to have another head attached to their shoulders, making it into 4 just because they are like really strong, compared to the person who can only use just the first plate. So keep that in mind. Exercises are all fun, and the science behind it is really simple. It is good if you know how to do the form and how to tweak it so you get more out of the exercise, but what you need to worry about is getting really strong and progressively overloading. The difficult and complicated part will be you working your way up and grinding the reps and the weights week after week. Have you ever spent 6 months on a shoulder press 30 kilogram, 7-6-5 reps, and these are the sets, just to go up to 32 kilogram in that 6 months, 9-7-5 reps? That's the real grind, and that's complicated, I have to tell you that. If you have never felt this struggle, then you're not strong enough. So everything else shouldn't be your worry. Consider subscribing to the channel, but if not, at least give it a like if you learned something from this, or at least if it opened your eyes. And watch these 2 videos next. Talk to you in the next one.